Got back a little bit later than expected yesterday, so we didn't put a video on because it was wife's birthday, and we took a little trip out to Lumsdale Falls, and we just had a nice steady walk round just for a couple of hours. But now we're back here and we're just going to take a look at plant growth over the last couple of weeks, because we're still getting quite a few messages from people saying that they're not quite happy with the rate that the plants is growing. But now we've reached end of May, you're going to see those plants start growing twice as quick. You'll be very surprised just how much growth everything's going to put on as we go into June. So we're going to concentrate on positive, because that's key, especially if you're a new gardener. You're going to hit a wall at some point. You're going to think that what you're doing don't seem to be working out. But you can never think like that. You've got to look at the positive side of everything. For example, as we said previously, your plants don't seem to be growing very well. To you, that's because you see them every day. So take a photo of that plant and then look at it again after a week, and you'll realise that it has put on quite a bit of growth. I've got a tomato plant behind me in a 9cm pot, and I'll show you what's happening with that. But before we do that, I just want to say thank you to a couple of people that donated to this channel over the weekend, and that's Kenneth Murtagh and Peter Cross. Thank you very much for your generosity, and as always, you know we're going to put that money to good use. It's only a tiny little plant. We should have moved it on already, but we never got round to it, so we've just left it in this little pot. And although it looks like it's not really done much or anything since last week, if you look close up, you can see it's got little tomatoes on it. Tiny little plant, but it's fruiting. So that's the positive side of things. Something is happening. And I'll just nip down garden because there's something else happening as well, which is part of this moving forward into June, being a lot more positive about what we're doing. And although gardening can be a challenge sometimes, you're always going to get results. With these peas, they've really come on in just a week, and we've got lots and lots of flowers now. But also, if you look up close, we've got our first sugar snap pea right there. That's just appeared over the last couple of days, and there's going to be a lot more to come. But we do need to get some string and start and tie these back now to these canes so they grip hold of that netting rather than falling away from it. So we'll get that done today. Now we're back in this greenhouse. We've got some nice growth on these dwarf tomato plants now. If we look at these ones as well, we've got little tomatoes growing right there, and lots of flowers, which is going to make even more cherry tomatoes. And the same thing's happening in this smaller plant as well. Little tomato just there. That germination that we recently saw about 2 days ago, they just started to come through, and now you can see that both of them are well on their way. And this courgette has put on even more size, and there's plenty more flowers on way as well. We've also got quite a few pears growing on this dwarf pear tree. As you can see, we've got fruit on its way, and there's quite a lot on this as well. We sowed quite a few rows of different varieties of plants in here, and we've got quite a few coming through. There is quite a few weeds to pull out as well, but we've got 2 rows of spring onions there. We've got spinach and beetroot, and then we've got some more carrots growing. And these red cabbages are now starting to form ahead. It's took them a long time, but they're now getting there. So there we go. That was just a few examples of what's happening in gardens now, and all that has started to happen over the last week. because we are getting now more consistently warmer days. And all we need to do is keep an eye on those plants. Make sure we feed them when they need feed, because if you don't feed your plants, they're going to grow a lot slower and they're going to fruit less as well. So make sure you stick to that feeding once every 10 to 14 days. And especially when your plants start to flower and grow your little fruits. So I'm going to move this one into another container. But I'm not going to put it in a huge container. I'm just going to put it into one of these and see how it gets on. It's still got a lot more room to grow if we pop it into something like this. And since it's trying to grow some tomatoes, we might as well give it every chance. I've actually lost track of what plants we've got left now. So I'm not sure whether this plant is actually a dwarf variety or one of these sweet millions that we've got that grow quite big. But either way, the smaller the container, the smaller the plant. And for now, just to help it along, we'll put it in something a little bit bigger. And I've buried some at stem at the same time, as we always do. I'll pop a bit of slow release fertiliser around the base of that plant as well. So as we water it, it's taking nutrients down. And then I'll just give it a good watering. Till we get rest at ground sorted out in here to put some more tomato plants in. We can just give this plant some new release of life, just by moving them on a little bit. Especially when you can see that even though that plant's quite restricted, it's making every effort to give us something. So that's all we need to be concentrating on at the moment. We're reaching the end of May, and obviously we're going to have a video coming on about what to sow and grow through June, because there's still going to be plenty to do. So if you feel like your plants are a little bit slow and they might not be doing exactly what they should, we're just reaching that point now where it's all going to kick in. Everything is going to grow so much faster, but they're not going to grow any faster unless we accommodate them where they need it. And to start off with as well, I'm going to get this string and I'm going to go and tie those peas up, because you can see we've got sugar snap peas now starting to grow, little things that's just appeared in a matter of a couple of days. But also some of them plants are moving away from that netting, so we just need to tie some string round and just pull them snug to that net, and then those little tendrils will find that netting and wrap around and work their way up to make us plants a lot more secure. So little jobs like that is going to help a lot. I'll grab some scissors and we'll go down there and get these peas tied up, because every now and again the wind gets up round here, and it has done again today, and you can see behind me it is also quite overcast compared to what it has been the last few days. So again, as temperatures have dropped down a little, but they are picking back up, and pretty soon it's going to be consistently bright and sunny and warm. But if them winds do get up and these plants haven't got themselves securely attached to that netting, it could blow them away and kink those stems. Then we might not get anything from that one particular plant. So as soon as we see little jobs like that that need doing, we need to go and do them. I'm not pulling this string tight against them plants, I'm just using it to push them as close to that net as possible, because we don't want this string cutting into the stems either. Then I'm doing the same thing again, but a little bit higher, and then these plants are secure for the next week or two. Five minutes later, job done. And now we know that them plants are going to continue to grow alright. They're not going to end up falling away from that framework and kinking. So it's one thing to be concerned about your plants not growing as fast as you might want them to be, but these little jobs that need doing, you need to do straight away. Especially when you can see that there's actually fruits growing on those plants. So we look forward to that. So hopefully, as we're going to June, you're going to feel a lot more confident, a lot more positive about what you're doing, and realise that we have to go with the weather, we have to go with the seasons, and all of a sudden everything is going to explode into life, and you'll realise just how worthwhile everything you've been doing over the last couple of months is. And if you'd like to follow progress or what plants we're growing, especially in that container garden area, then please hit that subscribe button and press that notifications bell, and we look forward to seeing you on the next one. Take care.